Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 1 of the Spurs Ball podcast. This will be short and sharp, as I hope most of the episodes will be. But I do tend to go on sometimes. So sometimes I might do a 12-hour live stream or something weird like that. Anyway, welcome on into the channel. Yeah, as I said in the intro, there's plenty of these around. So if you're watching it, I appreciate it. And if you want to give us a subscribe, why not have another one? Just in the first episode, I just want to talk about the state of Spurs. We all kind of know the state of Spurs, particularly a long time without a trophy. 2008, Juan de Ramos. Where's the statue? The statue somewhere at the bottom of the Premier League, I think, at the time, or at the bottom of the ocean, it should be. But yeah, I remember that day. I remember I had a history teacher that I tricked him and I sent a JPEG attached to an email and said there's an important bit of essay stuff I want you to look at, and it was a picture of Jonathan Woodgate and co lifting the cup. So yeah, great memories. Yeah, but the state, we know the last few years since Pochettino went, we've had Mourinho. We're playing pretty well in places. It wasn't really like a Mourinho team a lot of the time. We shipped a hell of a lot of goals and we scored a hell of a lot. Kane and Son, absolutely magical that season. And then it got all bitter and twisted behind the scenes. I think obviously sacked a few days towards the cup final. We have a right mess. We bring in Nuno. Listen, when he started saying, "Gonna make you proud," huh? I sort of fell for it for a day or two, and we beat City in that, and it was good. And then it was pretty bad, and Kane didn't have really his head in the game at that time, perhaps with thoughts of being in Manchester. I, by the way, am a new implant to Manchester. I live right between Old Trafford is 2 miles that way, Etihad is 2 miles that way. So if you're ever in town for an away day, I'll be going to the games, I hope, and I'll be around for beers and all that stuff as well. So, and I'm going to be down at the Tottenham Stadium a lot more this year. For years, I've lived so far away. It's difficult for me with work and everything as well. But I will be going to as many games as I can. So we'll see. So, okay, we move on from, just a little aside there. Let's make it about me. You are the one yelling into a webcam, Carl. All right, fair enough. I'm obviously pulling into Antonio. Obviously, look, Mourinho, I want skinnier.
You know, go that road on.
I don't know, that's my Daniel Levy impression of the day. Don't know what it is. That's just what he sounds like, isn't it? Off that documentary. Antonio goes, give me a bata, I want the bastoni.
Give me come Longley.
All right, I'll have Longley then. He wasn't the worst player in the world, Longley, but not the standard we require, I think. And we're demoralised as a fan base. We are, we lose now, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, that's what happens. But and it's difficult. It's difficult to know. Yeah, the board have made some very odd decisions, very, very odd decisions, and they got to go. They got to go. But right now, I guess they're not. They've made a good appointment, in my opinion, but we don't know. We could be in the relegation zone by November after playing 2 at the back and 1 up the stink, or whatever Postecoglou's tactics are. But I'm excited by Big Ange Postecoglou. I'll do a separate video on him. I am excited about it. But yeah, as I think the state of Spurs is, the fan base is pretty demoralised. Although we have had a lift from this appointment, but in general, looking back at the last few years, the night in Amsterdam, I watched it in Gareth Bale's pub in Cardiff, 11s. It's all right if you're ever in town. I don't live there anymore, but it's an all right sports bar. And the whole second floor was pretty much all Spurs fans. There was one Cardiff lad just giving me shit the whole time, but I just ignored him. But all the drama, and there was a table with 3 Dutch girls as well, and obviously it was Spurs fans just being horrible men screaming and that. And then these 3 girls, when Ajax scored, they were like, "Yeah!" I don't know. I didn't even do an accent with that. You can't. You've already done that, Carl. Oh yeah. And then again, when we won at the end with the Moura goal, is absolutely fantastic. We're shaking that top floor up there. But I would love to have been there. What a special night, and you're in Amsterdam as well. Finish off with a space cake. Yeah, I've got a couple of stories about Amsterdam. We'll leave that for another time. Very high. And yeah, don't take too many of those truffles, I'd say. That hasn't got anything to do with Spurs, has it, Carl? No, it hasn't. Are you floundering, Carl? Yeah. Are you hungover? Yes. Anyway, yeah. So I'm quite not positive, but I'm interested now. I'm just interested because it is a longer appointment with Postecoglou. 4 years, obviously, and listen, like most of us, didn't know a lot about him. I've seen him here and there, but I haven't watched the documentary thing yet, but I've watched a few. Is it the Open Goal podcast? Of course, it's Glenn's vodka manager of the season. Of course, has he got a medal for that? But absolutely fantastic job at Celtic. When you look at his career, going through the ranks, through Australia into Japan and then Celtic, and listen, yeah, he is going to be stepping up, and he is going to be coming into the Premier League, which is a different kettle of fish. And also I think he'd be very grateful, but he's just gonna be like, yeah, now I've got a reward for all that work. Let's go. So I'm fairly positive about him. It's going to be difficult to ship these players. We've got 8 on loan, 6 we need to go at least, a few from the squad, and then the ins who's coming in. Where it's going to be Madison or whoever, but we're competing with Newcastle for him as well. Barnes has been knocked around. Listen, if we sign Maguire, and unless you play him as a striker and just use his head as a target, I don't want Harry Maguire, I gotta say, but I'm not gonna get on any particular. Listen, if we sign whoever it is, I'll support them until you're headbutting the wall, like we all have with a few of these players at the squad. But we got to have a clear out, and we've got to expect a rocky season. It takes Postecoglou 6 months to a year to bed players in. You've got to find out who's going to come along with him in his philosophy, who's going to work hard, who might be willing but unable down the line when it gets to January next one. They say, look, you've given your best, you're not good enough, you've got to go. And I think we do need that kind of ruthlessness in the club. Astute signings. Maybe we can tap into these different markets now. So yeah, I guess on one hand, just like the last few years have been, there were some good times under Conte. People forget that quickly. The last 6 months or 5 months, or whatever it was last year, fantastic. And there were good times under Mourinho, believe it or not. But I know because things end so sourly, you kind of just think it was all like that. I think that's what happens sometimes as football fans. But I do remember some. I remember some good times. But the most connected I felt with the club, Martin Yole was the first one for me. We finished best of the rest. All that speech at the end of the seasons. Redknapp was a fun few years. Pochettino, obviously, the handsome. I used to look at him and go, "Oh, he's very handsome. He's very handsome. He's in a new suit today. Look at the haircut. It's all different. It's all on one side." Oh, and the football was great. Dele Alli was amazing. So different times. It's been a strange few years, and in some ways it feels like it's gone in an instant. In other ways, it feels like it's been about 30 years. They're like, oh god, the Paratici stuff, and it's getting a bit. Now I want a calm as in no weird issues going on. We keep a good structure, and if Postecoglou doesn't work out, we line someone up quickly that fits our model now, and our model has to be, well, what you want in a coach has to be, we want progressive attacking football, and there's different ways of doing that, like from Slot to Postecoglou, Pep, obviously, Klopp. Their systems. If you can hear that washing machine, I'm going to throw this laptop out the window because I can't believe I put that on while I was doing this. But I don't know. I've got a good feeling about Postecoglou. I'm not saying he's going to come and win the league or cup after cup, but I think he's going to change the attitude. He has to be given the chance to change the attitude, clean up some of that laziness, pull people along board with, and hopefully give him that spanner to tinker with a squad. Did I say his tactics were 2 at the back and 1 up the stink? Pink. I did. I think it was 2 at the back, 1 up the. I'm sorry. I know. I think my mum definitely smoked and drank when I was in there. Something happened. But yeah, anyway, this is the Spurs Ball podcast. It's just going to be me ranting and raving for 5 to 10 minutes. So come and get involved and give us a sub if you can. There's a great lot of channels out there. Anyway, I'm just trying to be me in the corner, a little Spurs fan that lives in Manchester now. That's got to try and not start talking like it, I've got to try and not do that now. But I love the city. The city's great, and it is a footballing city. I was accidentally in a Man U pub when we played them a few weeks ago as well, and that was tough because I got spotted because I wasn't cheering when they scored. I was like, that was a tough one. There's a tram that comes almost opposite my flat here, where from Old Trafford they come down. It's always interesting. I don't even need to see the results. You can see whether the fans are dejected or not. You can see them just sort of slob themselves down the steps if they've been beat or drop some silly points. And they're noisy as fuck if they've won, obviously. But I like the city. The city's great. There's a lot of good food here. So yeah, if any of you guys come away for Spurs next year to Manchester, I can't have a drink with you. Or avocado water. Avocado. God, this has got to stop now. I start rambling with these hangovers. But yeah, there's a nice little run for me right up the canal to Old Trafford. So it is nice to sort of be around football in places. But I wish it was Spurs Stadium that was 2 miles away, but it can't be, unfortunately. Maybe I should go and watch Salford and throw an egg at Paul Scholes or something. No, I wouldn't do that. But I do like lower league football as well. Weirdly, I don't know them, but I'm very good friends with a relative of the owners of Hampton and Richmond FC. So if any of you want to go down there and watch a little kickabout on a Saturday, I'll occasionally, or whatever day of the week is, I'll occasionally get down there and have a curry with my mate after as well, and a couple of pints. They sell good pizza in that ground. But it's a couple of Italian lads. It's my mate married an Italian lady, and our cousins run that now. So he's got himself a free season ticket. But yeah, I don't know. I just like football in general, and I probably will go and see Salford a couple of times because I just like watching football at any level, really. To an extent, and I wish I could see Spurs live more often. But as I said, I'll be catching both the away games in Manchester, hopefully next year, and I'll be down at the Spurs Stadium and in around various pubs. I've got a story about one time when I went to Spurs to see a Champions League game just before COVID. I'm not sure I want to share it right now because I did something bad on the high road, like shameful. No, you'll have to come back. You'll have to come back for another video, and I might share that one. But beautiful stadium. I wish I could be at the games more. So I'm a bit of a plastic, really, aren't I? But I should be able to get down for a handful of times for home games next year. We'll see. We'll see what works out. My family are just outside northwest London anyway, so I haven't got really much excuse. Have I? I better get down and. But they just want to bend us over, don't they? For the tickets, for the membership, for the shirts, for the. Not that I really buy shirts and stuff like that and merch, and I guess maybe it is a way of not giving into giving the board too much commercial stuff. Go and have a pint before and all that sort of stuff. But I am a borderline alcoholic though, so that is difficult. If anyone has any tips of sneaking hip flasks in to the ground, do let me know. But that's it. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do for the first little episodes. Everything's going to be on audio as well, but not yet. I'm just going to do a bunch of stuff and I'll stick it up on audio later because I don't do things correctly. There's something wrong with me. But I do love Spurs and I've supported them since I was about 3 years old. Just whatever I can remember. I've still got this weird pillowcase, which I think is from the 60s, that a neighbour gave me when I was a little kid. I think it might have gone now. I had it a couple of years ago. No, I think it's in a bag. Just an old drawn Spurs game, I guess the pillowcase is, but it's manky and you can't. I probably dribbled on that when I was 11 or something, or oh god, yeah, bad times. Anyway, this is longer than I expected. A lot of these will be like 5-10 minutes, and then occasionally we'll do a longer one. All right. Thank you for watching. If you did, and if you have, thank you, and if you will, thank you, and if you haven't, thank you. Subscribe, that is, but. It's annoying though, isn't it? There's so many channels for everything. What do you want to look? UFOs, Tottenham. There's 1,000 channels for everything, and every new person that comes along, people just go, oh, for God's sake, not another one. But yeah, there's another one. I get it. See you later. I like you.